everybody, this is Alyssa from Make Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for my whip and chat, I guess you could say. It's going to be like a little driving vlog, I guess you could say, in reality, because I'm not going to be able to actually film a regular whip and chat, because I'm on my way to the airport, yes, there will be no whip and chat filmed tonight or tomorrow night, because I'm not going to be home. And I'm not bringing any diamond painting stuff with me. I'm bringing other crafty stuff with me, but not diamond painting stuff. So, welcome. Hello, everybody. We are going to be tooling around, driving a little bit. I've got about an hour or so to get to the airport from here. So, we'll chat while I drive to the airport. So this week has been, I feel like I'm getting into the swing of, this new role and the new responsibilities that I have for this role. So I've been kind of stepping up into it, but which has been good. Overall, this week went really well. It started off on a very ominously now hilarious, but at the time it was just oh good grief, escapade that I had on Monday, which my Monday was Mondaying to the extreme. So basically, last weekend, I started off last weekend with Saturday, my mom and I got up bright and early and drove down to, ended up driving down to Orlando, Kissimmee area for the Florida Sparkle Squad day retreat. So we drove down for that. So usually that entails waking up at about 5:15 and then leaving the house by 6 o'clock. It takes a little less than 3 hours to get there. And the day retreat started at 9 a.m. So we headed out. I think we left at 5:45 because I needed to stop and get gas partway through. So we stopped at the Buc-ee's in Daytona Beach, got gas, and then from there continued on and got there a little bit before 9 o'clock, got all set up, and then we were able to do, our crafty fun, had lunch, more crafty fun, all of that stuff while we were there. I can speed up to 60. So did all of that and had the day retreat. It's always fun doing that, chatting with people. And I just worked on some snackies. I started off with a mini dazzle, I started off with Diamond Delights little mini set that I did. And once I finished that one, then I rolled into a mini dazzle set, and I was working really slow for me. So I only finished the mini dazzle and then my little mini Totoro. So it was 5 little things that I finished, but it still finishes. This month is not a month of finishes in any way, shape, or form. This is a month of whips. So worked on that because I didn't want to bring anything big with me to the retreat because it would just be a pain in the butt. When you're set up with the setup there, which is the folding tables and folding chairs. I didn't want to have to deal with that hassle of having stuff that's big and takes up a lot of space because there's just not that space for it. So did that, and then we turned around and came home on, we left about 4:30, somewhere around there, and headed home. My mom always drives on the way home. I drive down, she drives back, we kind of split it up. So we drive it back, and oh my goodness, traffic was it started to rain when we left, and it's not it's, rainy, wet, it wasn't that the traffic was going to be super bad, except for the rain. The rain is what kind of really triggered it all, because normally that time of day on a Saturday, it's not horrendous. Yeah, a little bit slow. It may only take 2.5 to get down, but then it'll take closer to 3 to get back. And that's just kind of the standard that I found on a weekend day, a Saturday. But we leave, and there was some really hardcore that night that you have to drive slow because you can't see anything kind of rain. It was torrential downpour for a little bit, and then once that kind of cleared up after about 10-15 minutes, and then but there were so many accidents along the way. One accident was bad enough that it detoured us around on the 4, detoured us, and we did a few miles of driving on the side roads before we popped back onto the highway. And we were good to go until we got, we didn't have to stop for gas or anything at Buc-ee's because you only really have to stop either on the way down or on the way back for my car. So we didn't stop. We were just kind of kept pushing through. We ended up getting just north of Daytona Beach. there was another accident that was bad enough that it had the northbound 95 completely closed. So we ended up having to, jump off the highway and drive back road for, like 10 miles or so to go around it to then jump back onto the highway because it was like hard stop, both lanes closed. So that was one of those things where it's like, okay, the accidents must have been super bad to, require closing the road like that, especially for the highway. So, but anyway, but needless to say, by the time we got home, or back up to my house, it was almost a 4-hour drive, which is crazy long. It's never taken me that long. And that was just because so many accidents and all of that rigmarole for it. But we got back, settled in, all that fun stuff. And then it was a matter of, just kind of chillaxing for the rest of the evening. And then Sunday, my phone has not been connecting to my just decided, I think with one of these last updates, that it wasn't going to connect to my wired headphones, because I prefer to use my wired headphones. The earbuds, the Apple ones, they're like $19 for a pair of headphones, and they work just fine for me. Well, my phone decided that it's not going to connect to them anymore. It doesn't even recognize that it's connected to anything. So I was like, fine, whatever. So I had done like the Apple support. And they were like, well, let's make an appointment for you to come in, and you could, and it was closer to go to like the Best Buy than it was to try to go out to the Apple store, because there's an Apple store, but it's like a 45-ish minute drive from me. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do the Best Buy, because there's one like 15 minutes from me. So went there and went through the process. So we got up and like drove down to do that. Well, we started off Sunday morning. We got up and we started mowing the lawn, and got about halfway through. I mowed the front, and my mom was like trimming shrub stuff. She was going to weed whack for me, but my weed whacker died. Like, it would just shoot. It wouldn't turn over and turn on. So rather than fighting with it, I was like, well, it's an old weed whacker. So I was like, okay, I just need a new weed whacker, because it was like an electric plug-in one. So I'm like, okay, I guess I need a new weed whacker. So where we were going to Best Buy is close to Michael's that I go to, and it was close to Home Depot. So we were like, perfect, we'll do the Best Buy appointment for my phone, then we'll pop over to Home Depot, and then we'll go to Michael's and get some lunch and then go from there. So then we ended up going to, so after we went to Best Buy, we were there, and the guy was basically like, he was like, it's charging your phone. Your phone will charge with a wired plug-in charging, but when you plug in the headphones, it's not charging. He was like, realistically, the only thing that he's like, we can't do anything for you. The only thing I can do for you is basically changing replacing this, basically is the mechanism that your cords plug into inside the phone. We would have to change that out, but that's like a $400 repair, and it's not covered by Apple. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend $400. And he's like, and it's no guarantee that that's going to work. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending that much money for something that may or may not work. So I was like, fine, whatever. I'll just buy stupid headphones that are wireless, as much as I don't want to. Ugh. So I'm annoyed, but I ended up having to get them. So I bought like the AirPods, which were only $129, but still, that's $129. And I'm like, why am I having to buy these? Why can't I just plug in a pair of headphones and have my phone listen to music from my plugged-in headphones? This is silliness. So I'm just slightly salty about that. There are so many, this road is basically the correctional facility roads. There's a lot of prisons and work camps and things like that on this road, and a lot of national park or state parks. It's basically, if you go from state park to correctional facility to state park to correctional facility. Well, it's technically, this one was a national forest, same thing. So that was that. That was Best Buy's. And then from there, we went over to Home Depot, researched and looked, because I was planning to go to Home Depot anyways, because I wanted to get a trimmer, a sidewalk, an edger for the sidewalk and the driveway. I wanted to get an edger. And then of course I needed to now get a new weed whacker too. So got one that has an attachment. I got battery powered, because I can't usually start the gas ones. They're just such a beast. So we got battery powered, and it's one that, like, the base is, weed whacker, but then you can detach the weed whacker portion from it and put on a different attachment that's the edger. So I bought that one, and then I bought the main, like, weed whacker, and then I bought the attachment that you can plug into it for edging, to kind of swap out the ends. So I got those. They're like adaptable things. I can like swap out all sorts of different tools for that if I wanted different things, but I really only need the weed whacker and the edger. Those boxes are currently sitting in my laundry room and have not been touched since, I purchased them and put them in the house on Sunday. But yeah, so did those, and then from there went ahead and come on, semi, drive faster. Okay, when the semis are on back roads like this, it annoys me because there's enough traffic coming at me that I can't pass this dude. So it's really annoying because they go just slightly too slow, and I hate not being able to see past them. So anyways, that was the initial aspect of everything. So then from Home Depot, we went over to Michael. Well, no, then we decided to go get lunch because we were hungry, because at this point it's like 2:30. So we were hungry. So we looked at the places that were kind of like right by where we were going to Michael's, and we were like kind of between like Mission Barbecue and then like a Carrabba's Italian. And we went with the Carrabba's because we're like, if my dad was with us, because it was my mom and I was like, if my dad was with us, then we would have totally had gone to the Mission Barbecue, which it totally worked out perfectly that we did it this way, and we went to Carrabba's. And oh my goodness, it was so good. We were practically full before our actual main course came out. So I think we both had like 5 or 6 bites of the main course, and then we were like, okay, we're full. That was it. And we so we got all of those leftovers to take home with us. But, oh my gosh, that food was so good. It was deliciousness. So that was lunch. And then after lunch, we went to Michael's, which was in the same compound or complex or whatever as the restaurant that we'd gone to. So we went to Michael's, got some different stuff. I got some floss for another cross-stitch project that I want to work on, so I got the floss. And then picked up like a couple embroidery kits that they had out that were just like so ridiculously stinking cute. One of them is like a blue moth. Oh, it is the cutest thing ever. So I picked up those and like a little mini needle felting kit. Like, might as well. It's super cute. It's like a sushi, and it's like little sushis. So I got those, and my mom got some variety of different things because she's decided to actually get back into doing doing embroidery again. And it's like, because I grew up, I had done embroidery way back when, but it's been probably like nearly 30 years since I've done any kind of embroidery type cross stitch stuff. But she was raised doing it, and I was grew up doing it. I just haven't done it in forever. But she's got some projects and some different like partially done ones that her mom had done that she's had in storage since her mom passed, which was 29 years. Wait, 16. I was 16. So, and now I'm 38, maybe 39. So it was like 23 years ago. Almost 23 years ago is when my grandma died. So she picked up some stuff so that she can work on getting back and work on and finish the projects that her mom had not had a chance to finish. So picked up some of those things and everything. So yeah, super fun. And then she picked up some stuff to kind of add onto things and a little kit that she did and everything. So yeah, we picked up that stuff from Michael's, and then we jumped in the car and headed home. Hauled everything in the house, kind of chilled for a little bit. We were so stuffed from lunch. And then my mom ended up, heading out to head back on Sunday, so that way she didn't have to, spend another day out. But when we got back, it was like we're hauling everything inside. I had accidentally brought my keys in the house with me, so my mom grabbed them and went and put them in this little tray next to my laundry room door in the kitchen. And she put them in there, which I used to always keep them in there. That's where the used to be spot was, in that little tray. So, and I didn't think anything of it. So Monday morning rolls around. I get up, do my normal routine, which now involves making sure Mochi eats an entire can of soft food in the morning. So I do my morning routine, shower, get ready, grab my lunch, and I banked my stuff. I didn't have a protein shake Monday because I had to go to the grocery store first to get more milk. So grabbed my stuff, went out to the laundry room, put my lunch in my backpack. Because my way that I do things, I have, like, you do things the same way over and over again. That way you don't forget things. So I usually my morning routine, once the girls are fed and I'm ready to go to work, is I grab my lunch stuff out of the fridge and freezer, put it on the counter. I make my protein shake, grab that, grab my lunch, grab my phones, because I usually have two phones that I carry, my work phone and my personal phone. Grab my two phones, and then put them, go out into the laundry room, put all of it down on the laundry room on the washing machine, grab my backpack, put my lunch in my backpack, throw it over my shoulder, grab my phones, my protein shake, and my keys, and walk out the door. Because my keys I actually tend to leave on top of the washing machine. So I do this. So Monday rolls around, I walk out the front door, and as I'm walking out the front door, I lock it as I go, because you lock the bottom one, so then you just have to deadbolt. So I locked the bottom one, and then I went to go do the deadbolt, to lock the deadbolt, and realized I didn't have my keys in my hand, and I had already closed the door and locked it with my keys inside. And I think this is actually like the first time I have ever actually locked my keys in the house. I've locked my keys in the car multiple times, so now if my keys are in my ignition for my car, my window is down this far. Like, I refuse to have my keys in my ignition and not have the window down if I'm not inside the car. So yeah, I locked my keys in my house. I was like, well, maybe my slider, because it doesn't have the greatest, from the inside you look at the lock on my sliding door in my dining room, and it's not the greatest lock. So I'm like, well, maybe my dining room is good, like I could just go through the slider. Maybe I could do that. So I'm like, okay, that'll work. I can do that. Nope, it's a secure lock. So I'm like, okay, fine. Go back out to the carport, pull up my phone. Thankfully, I had my phones on me. Look, and I'm like, call like the first 24-hour locksmith at this residential houses. Call them. They say, the guy will be there in like 20 minutes. And mind you, I have some meetings that I was supposed to be in Monday morning, and so usually I leave about like 6:45. So that way I usually get there about like 7:15, 7:20. By the time you've gone through gate traffic, and parked, gone inside and changed into my uniform. And then I have a little bit of time to work on emails, check emails. And then from there, I jump in, go upstairs to meetings. And Monday, I had a few meetings I was supposed to do on Monday. I think there was like 2 or 3 meetings. Well, I'm waiting on the locksmith. So then I text my boss and I was like, hey, by the way, I can't, because he was acting like he was covering down for his boss. So I was kind of covering down for him. So I was going to be doing the meetings in his place that he would normally be at, which he's in those meetings anyways, but not in the position that he normally would be because he was acting. So yeah, it was just like, come on. Ooh, I think I have to pay attention because I'm at the road that I need. Yes, I need to do this side, east. And then I'll be on this one for a little bit. Sorry, I want to make sure I don't miss my exit/on-ramp, so that way I'm good to go to get on the way. Because that's the worst part. The stupid semi is still in front of me. It's annoying. So yeah, I texted him and was like, hey, I just locked my keys in the house and I'm waiting on the locksmith to get here. I'm not going to make it to the meetings. And he was like, oh no, that sucks, I got you. So yeah, so basically I wait for the locksmith to get there. The locksmith gets there. It didn't take too long for him to get there, and then he proceeds to spend like literally 30 minutes trying to pick my locks and not able to actually pick the lock. Like, the lock was so ridiculous. Come on, dude. The semi is like so ridiculously slow. I was trying to go past him and he was just like, nope, you're not passing me. I hate driving on the highway. It's so annoying. But I'm not gonna sit behind the semi that's going 55 miles an hour on the highway. Not happening. So end up another semi. So basically, I'm like, I'm not like, this guy, he spends like 30 minutes trying to pick my lock to get me into my house. And, you know, you could tell that he was kind of like frustrated. He was like, man, this lock is like really secure. And I'm like, well, that's good on like the stance of, you know, I feel confident that nobody was able to get into my house prior to this. But it doesn't help when I'm trying to have him pick my lock to get me in my house, because my keys are in there. So finally he ended up having to actually drill out the lock. So he pulls out the drill, drills out the lock. I get into the house and I'm able to, you know, grab my keys that were in the kitchen on the little basket and everything. And like, thankfully it was like, you know, he only had to drill out the bottom one, because that's all I had locked was the bottom one with the knob on it. So I could still lock my deadbolt. So I do the deadbolt. So I was able to lock the deadbolt because, you know, now I can't even, you know, like there's no lock in the bottom knob. So yes, I locked the door, head to work, $165 later in the pocket, because that's how much it costs to get this locksmith out there and do the work, which is silliness. And they were like, oh, well, like we can replace your doorknob for you. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but for how much? Because that's going to be pricey. I would much rather, because I know how much, you know, the lock set costs. It's like $20-25 tops for new locks. And I'm like, and I'm going to have to pay for like the actual labor of them locking it or installing it. And I'm perfectly capable of doing that myself. So I head out, go to work, because then I had like the meeting was over and I had like maybe like 45 minutes until my patients would have started. So I went on and ordered, you know, the new lock set from Home Depot, got that so that way I could go after work and pick it up from the outside bins and not have to wander through the store and find it. So I ended up grabbing that, and then I had to, after I saw a couple patients. I think I saw like 2 or 3 patients, and then I ran upstairs to another meeting. So I go up for this meeting, and it was so funny because like everybody's like, hey, sounds like you had a good fun morning, and I was just like, yeah. It was a Monday. So yeah, I sat at the meeting, and then after the meeting, it was that was my Monday excitement. And then I get home. On my way home from work, I stopped at Home Depot and picked up the lock and all of that stuff. Grabbed that, and then you know, got home and had to actually install it, which was actually surprisingly fast. I've had some that are a lot slower than that one. That one was surprisingly fast. But I got the lock installed. And then once the locks were changed out, I had already gone on and ordered like a lock box, like an external house lock box that you put in like the pin for and everything, and you can keep like extra keys in there. So I had ordered that, and that came I think like Monday night. So I got that put on the outside of the house with a spare key in it, so I never have to worry about this happening again. Yeah, but that was my excitement. That was my Monday excitement. Silliness. Nothing major for most of the rest of the week. It was just kind of like business as normal. Thursday, what did I do on Thursday? So that was just kind of like business as normal. Nothing like super major. Meetings, patients. Thursday was like a busy day. I've been, you know, now that I have actual like admin stuff that I have to do for overseeing multiple departments. Now, like, the number of emails I get a day has like quadrupled, because it used to be I just got the emails for me as my job overseeing physical and occupational therapy, but now I oversee PTOT. I oversee the people that oversee PTOT, radiology, pharmacy, and the lab. So all of that, which is like 250 to 300 people or something like that now. So now there's more like admin work to do, so I kind of, you know, go through all of that stuff. So I have more folders and files that get put on my desk for me to go through. But yeah, so lots of that stuff yesterday. The hospital was also, we were doing our spring party yesterday. So they had basically we had a Mission barbecue out, and they served like pulled pork, pulled chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, cornbread, and then they had rolls as well with sweet tea or lemonade, depending on what you wanted. But they served all that stuff with like a couple barbecue sauces. So that was what I had for lunch on Thursday, which was deliciousness. It was really good. And then more admin stuff Thursday afternoon, some meeting spreading, and then like after lunch, I ended up also starting to do turnover. So one of the jobs that I've been doing, I have to turn over to somebody who's taking over for me now that I have my new position that I have. Because if I was to do all of the things that I had on my plate, I would literally not have a chance to see any patients just because of the demand on my time from those extra duties. So I did turnover with someone that was like an hour and a half of turning over the duties to her and letting her know like this is what it entails, blah blah blah. And then after I did that, I had to see a patient. And this patient of mine is actually one of the ENTs. She's like the ENT department head at the hospital. So I kind of like do a courtesy where she usually comes in every month or two, and I do dry needling for like this area here because it locks up on her when she's doing surgeries, and she'll be good, and then all of a sudden she'll be like, yep, there, locks up on her. So I see her every like month or two to kind of like manage it and reduce some of the symptoms and get her back to like a little bit more relaxed timeline. And I have like this chronic cough, which she had said that if I ever wanted her to like do something for it, then she totally will. Well, Wednesday afternoon I had done a mock. I did like I jumped on the rowing machine, which I usually don't do intense cardio because it triggers me to have like this coughing fit. So, but I have my physical readiness test, which is my push-up plank cardio portion, and I'm good on the push-ups and the planks. That's easy, but I had to do practice the cardio portion to make sure I was good on the cardio portion because I haven't done the row like that to that intensity level since last year when I did the physical fitness test. So I always do it a couple times before the test to make sure I can get that I'm good to go passing wise and all of that. So I jumped on the rower Wednesday afternoon after my last meeting of the day, which was late. So the last meeting didn't start until 4, and then it finished at 5, and then I changed out the road. So by the time I got done with that and changed back, it was like 5:30 before I even left work on Wednesday. So, but I did that. I got done with my row. I was fine while I was rowing. Got done with the row, and I was good to go. And then about like 15 minutes later, as I'm driving home, my voice starts to the airway constriction starts to come into play because it's always like 10 or 15 minutes later. So then I'm starting to like wheeze cough. So I'm coughing, but it's like a wheezing cough. And if I tried to talk too loudly, it would trigger like a coughing fit. And it's all like right in here that I get it. It's not up here, it's all low. So, and that lasted for the rest of Wednesday and then even into Thursday morning. By lunchtime on Thursday, it was kind of like back to its baseline mild annoyance. But it took, like until lunchtime to get to that point. So I saw this patient of mine after lunch, the ENT doc, and everything. So I wasn't coughing at that time and everything. But, I was just chatting with her. And so she put in, I didn't have a chance to get it filled this morning because it's so hectic today at work. But she put in a script for a couple different things for me to try to see if it helps to reduce some of the symptoms that I'm having and see if it helps with some of the cough and make it so I can actually do my cardio without the cough. So I got that placed for me, and I just need to so I didn't get it done now, so I might have to do it. I'll have to put it in first thing Tuesday morning for it to be filled with the goal of being able to pick it up Tuesday afternoon. But yeah, that was basically my Thursday afternoon. And then after that, Friday this morning was like, normal day, like low-key day at work, because this is like the hospital's on like a minimal manning day, which basically means that, we only were at like 50% active duty there today, and then it's a liberal day off for it's like liberal leave policy for our civilians. So if they want to take the day off, they can easily just take it off, because it's kind of one of those days where it's like a reduced manning day, really is what it is. So yeah, so we basically think 50% capacity for your appointments. But did that, my boss had, because the 50% manning is usually myself or my occupational therapist. We alternate which holiday we get for these reduced manning days. So I took this one, and I took it for him, but then also apparently my boss and I, in the new position that I'm in, we alternate who's on what day like this. So I worked today, Friday, kind of like the dual heading, had a meeting in the morning, and then I went put myself on the schedule for walk-in for our chiropractor, because he's been working and training my neck, the pain that I have in my neck that's been ongoing for a while. So this was a follow-up with him, because he does walk-ins on Friday mornings. So I threw myself on his schedule. So then I had to change into my gym clothes to see him, and then for that 20-minute appointment, and then change out of my gym clothes back into my uniform to see a patient at 9, saw that patient, and then I had some time to work on some of the admin stuff that I needed to get done, because I had like 3 or 4 big ticket items that I had to finish today before I could leave. And my boss had told me, yeah, don't stay super late, leave it at 12, which I was like, that's actually perfect, because I had to transfer mochi and sushi over to my mom, and then, make it back over to my side to make it to the airport in a timely manner for my flight this evening. So basically I left at 12, went home, grabbed the girls. I packed everything last night. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Grabbed the girls, tossed them in their kennel, grabbed their stuff, and then popped them in the car and headed out. And my mom and I, we kind of like met in the middle. She left earlier to go do some errands for my dad here in like the middle part, where we kind of meet in the middle for things like that, because that way neither person would have to drive like the full 2.5 hour drive. So we met in the middle at like a Wendy's, and then we just stopped and had lunch, grabbed some food, and sat in my mom's truck with the girls in their kennel and ate lunch. And from there we were able to did that, just kind of chilled, and then finished transferring the girls' stuff over, got them back into the front seat, because we put their kennel in the front seat and seat belted in, because then they can see you, and they're much happier if they are able to eye contact, see you. That keeps them calm. But they travel so well. Those little girls, Mochi and Sushi, travel so well. They just kind of lay down in their kennel and just lay there and laze and just chill. They do so good now. A lot better than when they were younger, because I do this drive back and forth between like my house and my mom and dad's house frequently, so it's like they're used to those drives, so they just chilled out. They were good. And then got them transferred over, and then jumped in the car, and now I'm heading to the airport. So I'll head to the airport. I'll get there a little bit earlier than I normally do, but it's fine, because I have to find parking, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to park just because of how busy they are right now at this time of day, and it's the holiday weekend. So fingers crossed I'll be able to find a parking spot and not have to, go elsewhere for parking, because I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. And my flight, I was like, if I can't get a parking spot in the main parking, I'm just going to suck it up and just pay for valet parking, because it's not like it's major time drain to do that. So I think I'm going to do that, and then, go from there. Yeah, that's where I'm at, driving to the airport. So far, we'll see what they show for the final releases, but so far I have not seen anything from Diamond Art Club that I want to purchase, which is good, because I did make a pressed and placed order, because I couldn't resist that 20% off sale, because I love the canvases I have already so much, and they're a pleasure to work on. So I went ahead and placed another pressed and placed order. In all fairness, 3 of the kits that I'm getting are much smaller kits, so I'm like, that won't be bad. Those will be ones that I'll finish really quickly. But the 4th one, which is the hand-rendered kit that I got, that one is much bigger. It's like basically it's like a 65 by 85 or something like that. I did order it in rounds, because I like the fact that you can choose round or square. So I ordered it in rounds, but that one's hand-charted, so I'm really intrigued to try a hand-charted kit. And I'm like, I want to see, I have until June 15th to decide if I want to order it or not. But they do have, they also started like a subscription, which I think is the coolest thing ever, like a diamond painting subscription, where they're hand-charted kits. They're all going to come in squares, which I'm like, okay, that's fine, I'll deal with it. Where you get 3 canvases, one that's kind of like a 50 by 50, And then they kind of go down in size point, but 3 canvases, one being like a 20 by 20, one I think like a 35 by 35, and the other like a 50 by 50. Those are rough estimates of size. But you get 3 canvases for like, I think it's like $95 or something like that is what they charge for it. So really not a bad price at all. And you don't know what the image is going to be until you get it, basically, because it's kind of like a hidden, like you get like, it's supposed to be like summer vibes. For this one, it'll be like summer vibes, and then they showcase the color palette of that for each of the canvases. So I was like, those look like they'd be fun, and they give you guys a general idea of the theme. But I'm waiting to see. I know some people that ordered the box for June. Traffic, yay. So I know some people that ordered the box for June, and their box is supposed to come in, like, I think a C over at Sea of Diamonds. I think her box is supposed to come next week. So I kind of want to see what it looks like before I make the decision to purchase myself or not, because I don't like surprises. So we will see. So I'm kind of excited for that. I think it's going to be fun. Ugh, I hate traffic. Yay. This is why I left early, to give myself plenty of time. But yeah, that's really the extent of what I'm kind of intrigued to see that. I want to see what they are before I make the decision if I like that concept before I decide if I'm going to actually, do the subscription one. Because I'm like, do I really need to get 3 additional canvases, just flat out 3 more canvases every month? Yes, it's a really good price, but I'm like, do I really need them? Of course the answer is no, I don't need them, but do I want them? Yeah, that's the thing. But we'll see. But I've still, even with everything that I've received and purchased and all of that this month, I'm actually still like my in-hand received kits is actually better than what it was last month so far. So that's a good thing. We're just going to try to keep that trend going. And there will be a couple months where it doesn't look like I'm finishing much kit-wise, but that's because I've got 23 WIPs going right now because I finished 3. So I have like 23 WIPs going, so it's definitely going to be a little bit slower to get to the finishes for the canvases that I'm working on. But I'm plugging away at those, spinning the WIP wheel, having it roll a canvas, and then doing a section on that canvas, spin the WIP wheel, do another one. If I'm able to actually sit down and diamond paint, I can knock out like 2 canvases, 2 sections, so 2 canvas sections for my sections, how I do them. I'll knock out 2 of them in like a regular day. So I've been doing that, but yeah. So making progress on those, slowly plugging away at that stuff. But anywho, so for this weekend, in case anyone was not already tracking, I am heading to the airport because I'm going to be flying to Las Vegas to hang out with a friend, Charmaine. I'm going to spend the weekend at her house. We have all sorts of stuff planned that we're going to do, and then we're going to go to the BTS concert on Sunday night in Las Vegas. So that's going to be super fun. I'm excited for that. This time we have like middle seats, so I'm not going to have that like same issue of the obstructed view that I had at the last concert that I went to. So it'll be like dead center, which I think will be good to kind of get that full picture of it. I think it's probably some of the better seats that you can get without being like literally front row seats. But yes, so Thursday night, I packed all my stuff, kind of did laundry so I could get the rest of the clothes I needed, packed everything up, threw it all in my bag. And I was like, I really don't feel like carrying an actual rolly carry-on style bag this time, because I'm only bringing enough clothes for like the weekend. And then my toiletries, so it's literally just carry-on. And I'm like, do I really want to bring all that stuff? So I just have like a shoulder duffel bag style bag to throw in, that I throw my stuff into. Because I just couldn't want to bring a big old suitcase that would just be like partially full for a carry-on suitcase. So got that stuff, and then because I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff, I'm like, I don't want to bring my whole like diamond painting setup because that's just too much. So I threw some small pixels into my bag. So I'm bringing pixels, and I'm bringing some cross stitch projects. I'm definitely not gonna finish all of the cross stitch projects that I bought because I brought like way too many. But that'll I kind of opened up a bunch of the different like the kits that I have for like small kits for cross stitch projects, so that way I can work on those and then get those kits used up, and then go to the ones that then I'll be able to, after I finish all of those, I'll be able to work on the ones that have I'll be able to work on the stuff that's basically been sitting, but I have already purchased floss for, but have not actually started stitching. So yes, but at least with the kids, it's like it comes with everything you need. So I have in my backpack, I've got like my iPad, my headphones, and then like my little project bag that has all of my pixels and cross stitch projects in it. It's a small project bag. So I got that. So I am set and ready to go, and I can do all the crafty stuff this weekend. That's what if I want to, and if we decide to be sitting and doing crafty stuff, Charmaine can be diamond painting, and I can be either cross stitching or working on a pixel, either or. So that's kind of what the agenda is for the weekend in our downtime, because we're not going to be out and about literally the entire time. But yeah, so I'm flying out this evening. It's Friday evening. I'll get in there about like midnight tonight to Las Vegas time. And then tomorrow, she was able to actually get the day off tomorrow, which is amazing. So now we're going to have, because we were expecting, to only have like before she went to work, and then she was going to get off work a little bit early, and then after she got off work to kind of do stuff. But she was able to get off early, to get the whole day off tomorrow. So that means even more time doing things. We have like a whole list of stuff that we want to do and see and explore and all of that. So yeah, that's basically where we're at as far as what's going on in my life, in my crafty life. So that'll be Saturday. I'll be kind of doing all the fun stuff. Sunday we will head over to the concert in the evening. And for the concert, that's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be such a blast. I love the fact that Allegiant Stadium in Vegas is actually like indoors, because it's silly to have an outdoor arena in a location where it's routinely over 90 degrees. That's just silliness. I.e. Tampa, just silliness. So, yes, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the concert, and then Monday, I think my flight back leaves in the afternoon, so that way, so yeah, it's the holiday, but I don't care. I usually I don't do a lot of celebrating for Memorial Day, which is like a personal choice for me, and that's mostly because I've lost people that I've known over the years from being in the military. So for me, it's not like this picnic, go out, have fun, go to the beach kind of day, just because there's enough people that I've lost that I'm like, to me, it's like, if that's what you do, that's fine. But for me, it's like, when I'm doing things like that, it kind of like loses sight of what they're like, of the people that I've lost over the years that have died while serving. So for me, it's very like, kind of like a ho-hum day, a day that I like to just kind of chill and not have to do anything, and I can recall and have those memories and everything of the people that I've known and lost over the years. So, but I will leave like Monday afternoon. I'll leave Vegas and fly back, and I think my flight gets back here just shy of like midnight on Monday night, which means that's, by the time I get home, it's going to be probably 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I get home on Monday. And then I'll have to turn around and go to work on Tuesday morning. So it'll be a short night's sleep, and then after work on Tuesday, I will meet my mom back at the midway point to pick up the cats. So we'll meet in the middle again. I'll pick up the girls and go from there. But that's my agenda for this weekend coming up. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm super excited. It's gonna be so fun. The goal is that I'm not flying through Dallas. I made sure that I paid more for my plane tickets to make sure that I avoided Dallas airport, because I'm not flying through Dallas this time of year and running the risk of having like my flight being delayed or canceled for weather, like has happened to me a couple times already for flying through Dallas. So yeah, that's like, nope, I'm avoiding Dallas for both on the way there and on the way back. But yeah, that's really all I have for you guys for today. I'm not purchasing anything this weekend unless the DAC does me dirty and releases like a UMA for the last showing of the day, which is in a couple hours. And then I will. So they've been teasing that UMA in like the thumbnail for a couple weeks ago in the group. So I know there's a UMA that's done that's, waiting to be released. Probably once the shipping container that it's in, it gets released from customs. they will then release it at that point in time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want it so bad. I need it. But anywho, that's really all I have for you guys for today. I'm going to be getting ready to be done with the highway shortly, so I'm going to have to actually pay attention to my directions, because right now I've just been on like the same road. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.